Everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say let.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS.
We're about to go right now. All right, later. Good morning and welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz, and along with me is the man with the boys, the man with the tries, the one with the broad chest, the one, the only, the good-looking beanie, John Borba.
Yo, what's going on?
Johnny bringing out the beanie game. I like it, bro.
Still cold mornings.
Cold, as you can see there in the intro. That is a live look from downtown Roswell, New Mexico. This is January 27th, 17 a.m. JB, how come we started the show a little bit early? Well, it's because there's a 2-hour delay in the city. Most work, unless it's essential, is being pushed out until 10 a.m. School has been moved to remote learning. It's 8 degrees currently, according to the weather app. That's what it's telling us it is right now. I went outside, and it feels a lot worse. I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to this, but you throw on about 2 or 3 good hoodies and a nice little big sweater over, and you just keep on moving, right, JB? JB, yesterday was a glorious day for you. It was your 34th birthday, your Shaquille O'Neal birthday. Happy birthday to you again. How was the celebrations yesterday?
I was just celebrated it alone. Gonna make me sound all bad up here.
Damn, my bad.
Yeah, my mom, she door dashed me a little cake and stuff. So
Hey, shout out Janet.
Yeah,
his birthday was also a couple days before you, right?
Yeah.
Happy late birthday, Janet. From the SOL crew, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Janet. Happy birthday to you. A little late, but happy birthday, Janet. We love you.
It's all right.
But JB alone. I told you, come. You should have came over. I couldn't get to you because I couldn't drive.
Yeah, I could have drove, but it's all good.
You in that 4x4.
It's all good. Just did some things around the house, did my normal thing. So we're good though. They all can't be celebrated the same.
All love from us here on the show, JB. But well, let's get on to what we got, man. The stage is set for the NFL. You got Mike Vrabel. Yesterday, we went into the Patriots locker room to see what the vibes was like. And a quote that I got from it: "Sometimes you have to believe things before you see them." That's what Mike Vrabel said to the squad after their win, as they're trying to visualize this Super Bowl victory that they will have at Levi Stadium in San Francisco, Santa Clara, California. The Patriots, JB, they're 9-0 on the road, is from what Jay told me this morning. And Mike Vrabel has the opportunity to become the first player to win a Super Bowl. So that's massive. You mentioned that on the show yesterday as well. For you in this matchup, what do you look forward to most, Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots?
I mean, for me, it's been what the whole tale of the playoffs is for the Seahawks. For me, it's all about the Seahawks, man. I don't know. I like what the Patriots have done, but I think for me, the biggest performer so far, the most consistent performer in the playoffs has been Sam Darnold. That first game in the blowout with the 49ers, he didn't have to do too much, but he didn't make no mistakes. He did exactly what he was needed to do, which was protect the ball, make throws that counted, and he made some big time throws. And then, of course, in the second game against the Rams, he delivered. He carried that team to victory. And I think for me, he's been the most consistent quarterback. We've seen every single quarterback struggle except him so far in the playoffs. So I like it. I like Sam Darnold's chances. I think he's riding the hot hand, and I think they got him and Clint Kubiak and that offense got a scheme going that's working for him. And for me, I think it's going to keep going. It might be a little bit more difficult because I think the unsung story, at least for the Patriots, that maybe we didn't give them a lot of credit for before the playoffs was was that defense, and that defense has come to play. And I know they're going to put a lot of pressure on Darnold, and they're going to make it tough. They're not going to make anything easy for Darnold. They're not going to make that running game easy. So Darnold's going to have to perform again for them to win for sure. If he lays an egg, I hope he doesn't. So you still have a little bit of doubt in your mind sometimes, but I think from what he's shown us, I think you can say that he has, in these last 3 years of his career, he has steadily progressed and he's gotten better each and every year. He's got better in the bigger moments, and I think this is about Sam Darnold and his career and what he's done for this team, and the decision that he made to go to Seattle. I think he could flip the switch right now. I think he already is flipping the narrative. I think this would just bring it home if he wins this game. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. As you can see on the graphic here, this will be taking place on February 8th on NBC or on Peacock if you are a subscriber. JB, man, I'm pumped about this. You got the two stories are pretty cool. There's a bit of a rivalry if you go back to the playoff appearances or Super Bowl appearances the last time they met. I mean, the story around that alone, not handing it off to Marshawn Lynch and allowing Russell Wilson to make that interception throw to Malcolm Butler. We're probably going to hear that on repeat throughout the week, throughout the next 2 weeks. So this weekend will be the us. Let's talk about that, JB. The Pro Bowl. What is going on with the Pro Bowl? Damn, I just saw Shador Sanders is possibly a Pro Bowl player as of now. There's a lot of shade being thrown. I think they kind of set him up by putting him in the Pro Bowl after what we saw this past year? Has it just become a gimmick game? Like, does the Pro Bowl mean anything anymore? Whenever we start looking at people that made the Pro Bowl, are we thinking to ourselves like, that's kind of a fugazi stat? We're not even taking that into consideration when we're comparing and debating players against one another. Is the Pro Bowl game officially just a gimmick?
I think it is. I understand why they had to look so far for a quarterback. You had Josh Allen, which who made it. Patrick Mahomes is hurt. They're both beat up. Joe Burrow, I don't think he would want to be. He didn't play enough games this year, I don't think, to even qualify. But then again, it's like Shador Sanders. I mean, you had Cam Ward on the AFC side. Trevor Lawrence, he must have declined that option as well. So you got to keep going down the list. The players don't want to be in it, so you got to just keep going down the list. You got to fill the roster somehow. I would have liked Cam Ward over Shador because at least Cam Ward played a full year.
Yeah.
I just don't think. I think all-star games are slowly fading away. They're nothing like how they used to be, 20 years ago. I mean, even that.
Back in
So,
my day,
yeah,
that's where we're at right now.
the Pro Bowl used to mean something, and the All-Star games, they used to mean something. Now it's just like I don't like it. I don't like the culture that they've built around it. Hopefully in the NBA that USA versus the rest of the world, that All-Star game turns out to be something not something
I don't know if I
meaningful.
like that either.
I like it because I think I don't know. That's just me. I've been saying I think the other countries like their cup. I think overall when it comes to fundamentals, and we see who all the top players are in the world. I don't see no Americans. All the I think when it comes to fundamentals and everything like that, you got Jokic, Luka, Giannis, Wemby. I mean, these guys they run the league now, and it's more about I don't know. I think it's a different style of play than like American basketball, is played.
Oh
And
yeah, for sure. And I think
yeah,
also what you got to look at it as is like if you look at the starters, I don't have the graphics. Jay, if you can find that for us, if you could just type into Google real quick and put in the NBA All Stars for 2026. If you look at that, JB, I mean the one thing I noticed right away is like the guys that are overseas that are athletic and can move well. Those are the European cats. I mean that's you got Giannis, which is damn near 7 foot, right? Jokic 7 foot, Wimby over 7 foot. Those are the three starters opposed to what's on the other side. I think it's Maxi, Steph Curry, uh, shoot, who else? Once Jay pulls up that graphic, but
I don't
it's a
know.
bunch of guards. It's like the style of the NFL or of the NBA is and what they tell us all the time is it's becoming it's a one-on-one basketball league. And you're kind of seeing that in the All-Star game for the US versus the world is we got a bunch of we got a bunch of guards playing basically stretch fours is what they call them now, right? Stretch fours, no longer known as centers, stretch fours. So it's like, is it really that advanced, or is it just the fact that like the foreigners are so goddamn big and they're able to dribble and shoot?
But how are
You know what
they
I mean?
doing that? But how are they doing that? And our 7-footers can't do that. Americans.
Yeah, because we're focusing on guards that are like 6'4", 6'6", that can do the exact same.
They
Because
don't coach
ultimately,
up.
like Wemby's not guarding Steph.
No,
Like I don't
but
care how big
the
he
way
is.
that they're coached up, is differently than I think in America or something. So I don't know like the fun, like I don't
Yeah,
know
for
the
sure.
root.
Have you seen Gilbert Arenas' take on it?
No.
It's actually kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. It's I mean it's pretty hilarious. I wonder if I could find it for you real quick. Because he has a good point. Like basically to sum up what he says is like how many all pro European players are there in the NBA? Right? There's like a handful.
Probably a handful.
Opposed to how many the NBA or Americans have been created. Like why would we change the way that we develop our young guys when we can go in and just grab a handful of all American athletes opposed to what the European guys are developing in the NBA? You know? Why are we going to take advice from a guy that's only making 1 million whenever this guy is just continuously making 100 million over and over and over and over again? Are you really going to take advice from the guy that's only making 1 mil when the other
No.
person just consistently shows that they're the cash cow? You know what I mean? At least that's the way Gilbert Arenas explained it when he said it. Sure, I'm being a bit biased because we're these delusional Americans and we think we always put up the best product and whatnot. So with that mindset, I like Gilbert Arenas' take. I like it. Why not? I mean, if you do compare it, the amount of athletes that they're pumping out opposed to what we are, like, are we worried? Are we worried? I don't like this All-Star game though because I do think it makes the American players look bad in a sense. Because it's not. I mean, because if you really wanted to represent us, you would still put like a Kevin Durant in it. I still think you would put LeBron because he would add value as a veteran to that locker room. But that might be a beatdown. Might be a beatdown. Let's see what
And
Santiago has to say here.
you got Shea too. A couple guys from Canada.
Yeah,
Jamal
Shea,
Murray.
Ellen Brooks,
Jamal
Jamal
Murray.
Murray. It's all Canada. I hate this world thing. That's the whole. That's the whole point. Is like the fact that they have to put an entire world versus the U.S. Kind of crazy, right?
It is a little crazy, but how else? I feel like you got to do something. You got to shake something up to in these All Star games because they're just turning into a joke. So you got to do something to change it up.
No,
I
yeah,
think
for sure. I
ultimately
couldn't
that's
agree
what
with
it
you more.
is. You know,
Yeah.
I don't like the
All right.
direction
Well,
it's going.
let's put a pause on the All Star or the NFL Pro Bowl games here, and let's learn a little bit about the college football world. Um, once I can get this together, Miss, let's bring on our boy. You know, there's this D1 athlete out there that once we sent a message to and we're like, hey, bro, you mind just adding that beautiful brain value to our show? And he was like, of course, man. Of course. This is our alum, our UNM alum. If you ever see this guy's highlights, you know what we're talking about. This guy's a dog, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Foley. Tim, welcome back.
Morning, guys. Missed you.
Yes.
Morning.
Tim, what's the background look behind you? We got a lot of snow out there. Is it starting to melt? What's it in Albuquerque?
I'm about an hour and a half away from Albuquerque. We actually got more of the snow and ice than Albuquerque did, but still got a lot of snow and ice on the ground. Still pretty icy out here, but we'll survive.
Are you guys panicking? Are y'all kind of panicking like us here? Like we have a 2-hour delay for like the entire city, or at least that's what we were told. And then school was canceled really early for today, as if it seems like we're just a bit nervous about the ice on the ground.
Yeah, on APS schools are all open and full regular
We're
go.
gonna learn today.
Yeah, the crazy thing about Albuquerque is since I've been here, so about like 13, 14 years, Albuquerque doesn't get a whole lot of snow. I mean, the mountains will, and where I'm at, like kind of east of the city, gets a good amount of snow. But the city itself, if it does get snow, it'll get like 3 or 4 inches, and it's gone by the end of the day. So in the city, it's nice, but when you get up in the East Mountains and more towards like Moriarty and stuff like that, it definitely gets a little bit icy out there. But
Oh
did
yeah,
you guys get the brunt of the storm down there in Roswell?
Oh yeah.
Borba, go ahead.
No, we got a. I think we got up to like 8 inches with
Oh,
certain drifts and things like that. So yeah, we were kind of snowed in. Um, Sunday morning, yeah, Sunday morning it hit us hard. Sun came out. I think the sun's coming out this morning, so we'll be all right. Yeah,
Eight
I think the
inches.
roads
That's
are
a big deal.
a lot of ice though.
8 inches. Pretty big, my boy. Pretty big, Borba.
Yeah.
Borba, things that are getting big also at UNM is they got a new quarterback. This freshman, Luke Mora. Uh, Tim, can you tell us a little bit about Luke Mora? It looks like he's transferring over from Oregon. What's the word on this gentleman here?
yeah. So Luke, he's a redshirt freshman. He has 3 more years of eligibility left. He entered the transfer portal pretty late, and then he signed to UNM, which was kind of a big shock to everyone. He's a 3-star recruit coming out of high school. He didn't play a whole lot at Oregon. His true freshman year didn't play at all. He got in about 3 games this last year. He only threw 5 passes. He was 3 for 5, 58 yards, 49 yards rushing. This is going to be a tremendous add to the Lobo roster. I know that kind of towards the end of the season, there were kind of some question marks at the quarterback play. Jack Lane did a phenomenal job at leading this team this last year. There was just a couple games where people thought that we probably could have got a little bit more production out of that spot, and it might have helped us in some areas. Um, I believe this is the guy that is going to be able to fill that role. I think healthy quarterback competition is great on a football team. We have Jack Lane coming back as he's scheduled to be the starter. He's going to be a senior. He's led football teams. He's been successful his entire career. So it'll be really good to be able to have somebody like this that can kind of hopefully raise up the play in that room a little bit. The big major thing that people are talking about is this guy's speed. He's out of Phoenix. His high school was Sunny Slope High School. He was a dual sport athlete. He ran track and played football. He was a state runner up in the 100 meters in Arizona and in 6A in Arizona, which is there. It's a big deal for track in Arizona, as along with football. He was a state runner up in the 100 meter. He ran a 10.5 at the state championship, which is blazing speed. He's huge too. I want to say he's 6'2". He's 200 pounds, and being able to move like that, that's going to be a great addition to this Lobo football team. The only thing that I'm kind of looking at, people are making comparisons to Devin Dampier. He was also a quarterback out of Arizona. So UNM has been plucking up some pretty good athletes from that state, and people are hoping that he's going to be make as big of a splash as Devin Dampier did.
Do you expect this gentleman to get a start immediately? Do you think this shortens the leash on Jack Lane, or what should we really expect from this commit? As being a freshman, obviously, right?
Yeah, he has a lot of experience. I mean, playing for Oregon and only being able to be in 3 games. He hasn't had a lot of game experience at the Division 1 level, but he's been around. He's been around big time football. He's been around very good players, and Dante Moore, who's returning to Oregon. So he's been in a quarterback room with some very good football players. I think the thing is this is going to be able to raise the level of play. I don't see him going in as a starter day one. But the positive thing about this is he's come in at a time to where he can be able to do winter workouts and then do spring football with the football team. So he'll be able to showcase his talent. Hopefully, there's going to be a quarterback battle at UNM because we all need competition. It brings out the best in us, and sometimes it makes people crumble. And if that happens, then maybe you weren't the right man for the job in the first place. But I see him going in as a backup, but I think he's going to be nipping on the heels. I don't think he transferred from Oregon to the University of Mexico to sit for an entire season. So I would see worst case scenario would be he's probably they might be running a two quarterback system. He might have some packages, kind of how UNM did a little bit towards the end of the season with their backup quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, you watch that bowl game this last year, and I think the most frustrating part was not being able to move the ball down the field with our quarterback. It felt like that would have been very helpful in that bowl game. But I mean, even watching that game. I mean, granted, I didn't watch Jack Lane all year. I kind of jumped in real deep the last like three games, especially that one against San Diego State. That was fun, but yeah, man, you look at that game, and no disrespect. Sorry that I forgot this gentleman's name, but number 13, which is it seems like he's the option quarterback where they bring him onto the field to kind of run, be more of a RPO guy. So this guy that has speed, it sounds like he's at least going to get touches, some split touches, with Jack Lane to kind of ease him into the game. Is that kind of what you're getting from it too?
Yeah, how I'm seeing it. We're gonna have to see how spring ball goes. Anything could happen in spring ball. This guy could come out of spring ball and being the starter. You never know. But I do enjoy seeing them. I love this sign. We needed this. Even if he is not the starter for UNM for this next football season, we have a very bright future for 2 years to come after that. He put up big numbers in high school, and in Arizona 6A football, it's not the cream of the crop, but it's definitely nowhere near the bottom. His career stats, I mean, he had almost 4,500 passing yards, 51 total touchdowns, or 51 touchdowns just passing. And then he also rushed for 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns throughout his career in 6A football in Arizona, which there is some very good football that's played there. Whenever he signed to Oregon, 24/7 Sports actually had him as the number 4 dual threat quarterback in the nation. So he had big promise coming out of high school as well too. So I anticipate him being able to dominate in the Mountain West if he does get in the football game. Hopefully he learns the system well. Hopefully he brings good culture, because there's nothing worse than bringing in somebody who maybe making more money not nowadays than a lot of people on the team, and him bringing a bad culture and kind of having a sour attitude that can bring down the team. It's like cancer. So I hope he has a great attitude. I hope he comes in here, he puts on his hard hat, and he's ready to work, because that's really what the local football team does.
Yeah, and Coach Eck, do we trust him? Yes, we do. So him bringing on this gentleman, we got to believe, and we got to trust the process, as they say out there in Philadelphia, right, JB? Trust
Yep.
the process and let this thing play out. I look forward to seeing Luke play. Man, are we up to something in New Mexico? You can feel it. You can feel it in the air. I don't know if it's just the cold. I don't know if it's just the mountains or the snow that's getting in my head a little bit. But damn, can we get in? Could we squeak into the college football playoffs? Especially with the new rules that were set, Tim. What about those new rules? What are the new rules that were set about the new college football playoffs going forward?
Yeah, so the rules were, stayed somewhat the same. When we're talking about the teams that'll be in there, there's going to be 12 teams. The only thing that's going to be changing is each conference champion gets an automatic bid. This happened not this last season, the season before. And then they brought it back again this year. Everyone was hoping that we would get to the 16 team playoff. This is an annual thing, so they meet every year. They had a deadline in December 1st, in which they extended it to January 23rd, I believe. And they came out of the conclusion that conference champions get an automatic bid, and then the other big rule change that a lot of people are kind of up in arms about is Notre Dame. If Notre Dame is in the top 12 at that final after that final committee meeting, they are automatically in. So the reason behind this is because Notre Dame felt like they were snubbed this last college football playoff, which a lot of people might agree to that. But with these rule changes, if that would have happened this year, Miami, who was in the national championship, wouldn't have even made the college football playoff. Instead, it would have been an 8-5 Duke team that made the college football playoff. So a lot of people are kind of up in arms about that. I don't necessarily agree with the Notre Dame thing, especially if you look at their schedule this next year. I believe they play out of the 12 games that are scheduled. I think 4 of them had winning records, and the other ones had more than 8 losses on their schedule. So they have a very cherry schedule this next year. There and which they backed out of a lot of games, a lot of games to be able to play big time teams because they said that hurt them at the beginning of this last football season. So now they should be playing middle school football teams up until the college football playoff. It seems like.
Notre Dame catching the strays. I stole this graphic from the Pat McAfee show, so this is kind of just in a glimpse. I don't know if you can you see it, Tim? Number of teams in the field will remain at 12, as you just said. The Power Four conference championships will be granted spots in the 12th team seed. The highest ranked conference championship from the group of 6 will also have a guaranteed spot. That part, the highest ranked conference champion from the group of 6 will also have a guaranteed spot. Is that where we squeak in? Is that where UNM can squeak in to get into the college football playoffs?
It does. As long as they win the Mountain West Conference, and if they are the highest ranked team at that time, in the group of 6, then we would get in. Unfortunately, the way that is, we would need a lot of other dominoes to fall for that to happen for a Mountain West football team to be able to get in to the college football playoff. But this year would have been prime for the picking, just like that. I mean, that group of 6, we let two teams in there because the Power Four schools didn't really do what they're supposed to. So there is an opportunity for it. UNM just has to ball out, do what they did this last season, and ultimately just win that conference championship. If that is their goal, to win the Mountain West Conference Championship, that needs to be at the forefront because that is the only opportunity we will have to be able to get into that college football playoff.
And from your opinion, how does that look?
It looks promising. The only thing that we have to worry about is people in the other group of 6 conferences not doing that well, because if there's another conference champion like Tulane this last year, and they're up at pretty high ranked, then they're going to get chosen over a Mountain West team. So it really all depends on the conference championship, who's ranked to the highest. So each week is going to be a battle. You can't be winning games by low margins if you're trying to be that one group of 6 team. You're going to have to be able to dominate throughout the entire football season.
You hear that, Borba? We have a chance. We have a real chance to squeak it. Can you imagine UNM in the college football playoffs on national television, bro?
That would be
That'll
crazy.
that'll be dope.
Yeah,
The
That'd be
thing,
cool.
another thing too, is they're actually pushing back. I mean, if we thought the national championship game was pretty deep in the season this year, this next year, they're actually the game is on January 25th in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. So it's almost going to be like almost a full week in more into the season than it was this last year. It's almost feels like college football is going to be like the Major League Baseball with how long the season lasts.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah, they got to figure that out. They got to figure that out for sure. College football, though, in December was pretty fun. I would like to see the first and second rounds both be at home, or like where they have like their own home field advantage. That would be neat. I think that's probably another thing that they should change immediately. Obviously, the college football world, we don't know what's going on with all these transfers, all this money kind of funneling in from left to right. There's been conversations about tampering. Tim, there's something that you sent me as well, along with tampering from Dabo Sweeney, kind of losing his mind. Let's listen in here real quick. Let me pull this up, Tim, and then you can react for us. But Dabo Sweeney having a bit of an issue with this whole transfer portal thing.
101 is when you're talking to kids who aren't in the portal. Tampering 201 is when you've already negotiated the deal with the kids not in the portal. Tampering 301 is when you got a kid who's gone in the portal, signed somewhere, moved there, gone to classes, and you're texting them while they're in class. This situation is like having an affair on your honeymoon. Tampering 101 is when you're talking to kids who aren't in the portal. Tampering 201 is when you've already negotiated the deal with the kids not in the portal. Tampering 301 is when you got a kid who's gone in the portal, signed somewhere, moved there, gone to classes, and you're texting them while they're in class. This situation is like having an affair on your honeymoon.
That is wild. That's Clemson coach Dabo Swinney calling out Ole Miss for tampering after coach Pete Golding allegedly tried to lure Clemson player into the transfer portal. That player was, I believe, their linebacker. Is that correct, Tim?
Well, yeah. So the thing is he is a linebacker. He actually just got to Clemson. He wasn't there this last football season. He transferred there from Cal in the portal. So kind of the timeline this is, and I can, as well as anybody else in the country, you can see Dabo Sweeney's frustration. And this isn't about the portal. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is because of the portal." This kid wasn't even in the portal. He went in the portal, signed with Clemson, didn't commit. He signed, enrolled in classes, and was doing uh, weights with the football team as early as January 3rd through 8th. January 9th, after this kid's already signed a contract, Pete Golding from Ole Miss is texting him while he's in class saying, "Hey, man, I know you're already signed, but what's your buyout?" Uh, then Pete Golding sends him a picture of $1 million contract. And then he says, "We'll double
Yeah,
it."
this guy.
And then and then so what happens is Luke gets this text message while he's in class. He goes to Dabo Swinney. He's like, "Hey, just want to let you know this is what's happening." I think at that time Clemson's thinking, "Oh, we have a stand up kid. He wants to come show us what's happening, just so that we can get the NCAA involved." I think what really was happening was Luke was letting them know, "Hey, man, I got this on the table. What else are you willing to give me?" Allegedly, his agent then reached out to Dabo Sweeney, and because Dabo Sweeney wanted those text messages, he wants screenshots of those text messages to be able to be a part of that complaint to file to the NCAA. Um, Allegedly, Luke's agent said, "We'll give those to you only if you sign in another year onto the deal that this kid has already signed." So Clemson, being stand-up guys, they're like, "Look, we already had an offer. He is signed. This contract is set in stone. We're not adding anything else to it." And the kid bounced. He wouldn't return a phone call. He went to Clemson's um, he went to their compliance office and said, "I want to enter the portal." So he was at Clemson, I believe, for a total of like 2 weeks at max. And now it got to the point where he wasn't returning Dabo Sweeney phone calls. Dabo Sweeney pulled up to his apartment, and Luke was getting into his truck, and the only words he said was, "I'm going to Ole Miss." So uh, it it's wild, man.
College
I
football.
Yeah, I mean, I anticipate the NCAA coming in and putting in some sanctions against Ole Miss, because this is, like Dabo Swinney was saying, this is more than just tampering. I mean, this is just full fledged breaking of contracts and showing bad faith.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the wild, wild west. Who do you want? Come and get it. Offer whatever. The fact that he's probably just in class, like imagine that, bro. Just kicking back in class, and all of a sudden, you just get you think you're getting a cute little pic from the girlfriend, and it's just $1 million bag sitting on the other side of that. Like, come on, daddy, come on over. That is nuts, JB. What are you doing getting that picture, JB? Sitting there in math class, just enjoying the rest of your
Yeah,
day.
dude.
All of a sudden, $1 million picture. What?
Yeah, for
Oh
me, it's
man.
like that's a huge decision right there. I don't think that's right. I think it's totally wrong. There's got to be some repercussions, and there's got to be some new rules laid out, because that dude, like that's crazy. You're stealing players from teams like that. I don't know, man. That's just not ethical. It doesn't seem ethical to me. It doesn't seem right. So there's got to be
Yeah,
some
you
repercussions.
you know what's nuts is that there's this whole other league that's right above them that they could just go and use the same tactics as they do in the NFL and use it in the pro leagues. Like that's nuts. Could you imagine right now just Mike Vrabel pulling up the phone and just being like, "Hey, yo, Patrick Surtain, I know we just beat you, bud, but how about 30 million to finish off this season with?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine that Mike Vrabel being able to just call Patrick Surtain and just being like, "Hey, bud, how about you play one more game out here for this Super Bowl?" Like, that's what it feels like in college football. It's crazy, man. But from college football to the NFL, Tim, Diego Pavia has threw his name into the hat, and he is going to hopefully find himself a spot here in the NFL. His measurements came out yesterday. I believe Vanderbilt had him sitting tall at 6 foot. They brought him down to 5'9" and 7/8, which I'm just like, come on. Yeah, at least just give us a little tippy toe up there. Get us up there to 5'10". It'll look a lot better. Sitting at 198 pounds, Tim. Are we excited about Diego Pavia going into the NFL draft, or what's the word around him from what you're hearing?
I'm excited for him personally. You can tell that playing in the NFL has been a lifelong dream for this kid. I think he might have had an opportunity to possibly be able to play college one more year. I don't think the specs would have looked good for him, but ultimately he decided I want to go try to play at that next level. These measurements aren't helping him, especially the massive difference. The thing is, man, is everybody understands that whenever a player is on a roster, they're always fudging height and weight. I mean, that's just how it is, and it happens everywhere, especially at the Division 1 level. So this isn't something that's completely shocking, but also at the same time, um, as an NFL man, as an NFL executive, you don't whenever you're seeing a 5'9" quarterback, you don't really see quarterbacks of that size have great success in the NFL. You have like a Drew Brees, possibly, who's always the guy that gets brought up. But that's a dime
Russell
a dozen.
Wilson, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think even Russell Wilson was taller than that. I mean, 5'9", and I mean, this is coming from me. I was a very undersized player for my position, so like I have faith that he can still get the job done. It just goes to show how much of a gamer and a baller he truly is to be able to put up the numbers that he did at the SEC in the SEC at that size. I mean, clearly this man has heart that's of a 6'4" person. He's just not that tall, and that can be problematic depending on what kind of scheme that you're in. Because if you're just going to be a pocket passing quarterback, you have to be able to throw into those lanes and throw over those 6'7", 6'8" offensive linemen that you have protecting you. And when you're 5'9", you have somebody an entire foot taller than you, and that's a foot with them without cleats and helmets on. So I mean, they're going to be even bigger whenever you have that equipment on. It's going to be hard to see those passing lanes. So it's going to be interesting to see what team is going to take a shot at getting him. I wish that he would be able to be like a Taysom Hill. I don't think he's going to go into it with that kind of mindset. If he wants to stay on an NFL roster, he needs to have that kind of mindset. You need to be indispensable, especially if you're not going to be the guy going in from the beginning. You need to be able to show that you can run down on special teams and stuff like that, and be able to just make plays. So I hope that he's working on stuff other than just throwing the
Big year.
football.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. JB, what's your honest opinion about this gentleman going into the draft? Let's be kind here. Let's not forget this is an Albuquerque native. This is one of us.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the NFL was trending towards shorter quarterbacks. We saw Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, a couple of those guys, and I think how their careers have kind of unfolded. Like they might have been like a hot commodity for a couple of years, but they've kind of we're not seeing the success that maybe some GMs or whatever some teams might have thought bringing these shorter guys in we're going to translate. Baker Mayfield's a little bit shorter on the shorter end, but he's had a decent career. He's like kind of like a stature of like Drew Brees. With like the shorter guys like this, man, it's very little success. So I think now when you look at the prototypical QB again, people love a 6'4", 6'5" Fernando Mendoza just standing there like almost like a pocket passer, kind of a who's agile just enough to get out of the pocket, just enough to extend the plays, to escape pressure, things like that. I think the NFL is going trending towards back that direction. So I think this makes it even harder, like a guy like Diego Pavia, to really have a chance, to be on a roster. I think he will get a chance. I think even if he goes undrafted or if he gets drafted late, I think he'll still have a chance to compete, at least to try to make a roster. I think it's just going to be hard, and he might get bounced around a little bit, but he's got to, like Tim was saying, you got to find your niche and possibly a Taysom Hill sort of role, somebody that can kind of jack of all trades. At the end of the day, sometimes you just got to be a football player, and that's what Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
That's what led to Taysom Hill's long career, So, Diego Pavia, he could. It's just the size thing, but you got to find what fits. It might not be quarterback, but there's some other ways that he can contribute. So, if you got to make a roster and get paid, then sometimes you got to sacrifice that.
Yeah. as of right now, it's just get on the team. Let's make a roster, and then an opportunity will come, and you got to take advantage of that opportunity, right? That was one thing that I do got to shout out uh, Shador Sanders for is just him staying positive throughout the whole process and just kind of waiting for his opportunity to come in and make a difference. Now, that's up for debate. That's up for your own judgment on whether or not he did execute as most of us thought he would, but man, let's just get in there, Pavia. Let's get in there. Let's make some noise and let's put Albuquerque on the map. Why not, man? Especially with the things that are moving, that could bring a bunch of attention to the city and that college, and maybe fulfill a lot of their dreams and funnel in a little bit of money while we're at it, right? Funnel in a little bit of money to help the program. So they still have the whole thing that we always kind of joked about throughout the season. Where Tim kind of brought it up real early, and he was like, "We might have to set up a GoFundMe account so that way we can afford to keep Jason Eck." And that's kind of exactly what the UNM program did. Is they basically went out and did their own
Collective.
GoFundMe. What is it called? It's called the Players Only, or
It's
what is it
a
called?
it's a real ones, and it's a
Real
collective.
ones.
Yeah.
There we go. Collective GoFundMe. Yeah, tomato, tomato, right? There's rules that have to be followed, and Coach Prime took it to the next level. Coach Prime, these are some rules that Coach Prime has set to discipline his athletes for either being late or let's go through it. Being late to a meeting, $400, 500 late to practice, 1,000 late to a workout, 1,000 late to treatment, 1,500 to a no show to a workout, 1,500 to a no show to treatment. Uh, and then so on and so forth. It goes up to as high as 2,000 to 5,000 K for public or social media misconduct. That one's interesting to me because who decides whether or not it's misconduct? Is it the reaction of the fans, or what necessarily makes those judgment calls on these things? Tim, what's the information coming out, and why did Coach Prime feel like he had to implement this into his program?
Well, a couple of things. The reason that I feel like he had to implement it, one is they did not have a great football season this last season. I believe they only had 3 wins. Obviously, this is showing accountability measures. It's funny because people are looking at this and like, wow, that's a lot of money. These kids are making money. They want to be professionals. You're going to be treated like professionals. That's what happens whenever you're on an NFL football team. You get fined, and it's a lot more money than what they're finding these kids for. The thing is whenever you're looking at these, all this is like whenever you look at them, if you're just a normal kid who's on time, then you're not gonna have to pay any fines. Like you don't miss practice at the Division 1 level. You're literally having to be like you live in that facility. The only time you're not in the football facility is whenever you're at class or you're at study hall or food table or if you're at the cafeteria eating. Like that's it, you're always there. If you're late to a practice, whenever you have typically practices, you're having like 2 hours of meetings prior to a practice. So if you're late to a practice, that means you missed the team meeting and the practice. You're like 4 grand in the hole at that point. So like just be an accountable kid, just show up on time, and none of this is going to be an issue. Like obviously there's problems of accountability if they're having to implement stuff like this.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. This is kind of wild. What do you think, JB?
I 100% agree with that. I think these are young men and you're getting paid. You know, you're getting paid. So I think you have to look at it that way. These are small fines. You know, it's just disciplinary stuff. But if you can't handle this, then you don't deserve to be on the team. You know, like this is just basic stuff. So for me, it's like you know, that your parent kind of like I don't know, I'm not a parent, but it kind of like has that same sort of analogy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I think of it as the same thing. Like it's not a lot of money, you know. You can think of it, you know, disciplining your child for like a couple bucks. You know, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Okay, you're not doing your homework. You know, I'm going to take this away from you. I'm going to do that. Like just get what you need to get done. Like these are grown men, and some of them might make an NFL roster. You never know. The only thing is with the program is that they're just not winning. So this is a lot of
yeah.
disciplinary action for a program that's not winning. But it makes sense. Like I agree with it. I mean, I agree with it. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And these guys are getting paid, so they just need to follow simple rules.
Tim, is this a little bit of is this the Kurt Signetti effect? Is this the fact that maybe Kurt Signetti had so much success over there in Indiana at a small school that nobody thought would be able to do it? Of course, there's a lot of money that was funneled in behind that, so we got to take that with a grain of salt. But Is that kind of what's causing this domino effect, making rules kind of come out for other programs like Deion Sanders, especially with the what the expectations were for Deion Sanders' program there in Colorado?
I think it definitely helped in aid in this decision. All this is you can tell that Deion Sanders is trying to implement a culture change. Whenever he first got there, you could tell it was about flashy, it was about money, it was about social media likes, and that's what a lot of people were criticizing about their Colorado's practice jerseys had their Twitter handles on the back of their jerseys. So I mean, a lot of people were talking about how you guys are focused on the wrong things, and this just goes to show that they were correct. They were focused on the wrong things. They're not winning football games. So now Deion Sanders is having to come in the 11th hour to try to implement some disciplinary action to be able to bring a culture of kids in that are going to help win football games. You can't bring very good individuals in and hope that it wins in a team atmosphere. You have to have a team in order to win these football games. And that's why Indiana had that kind of success that they did. They didn't have the five-star athlete, but they had guys who would play for each other, who were disciplined and knew what they needed to do to get the job done. I like to think that this could possibly have been uh, the works of the former UNM athletic director getting the job there. Maybe he was kind of in Deion's ear saying, "Hey, man, we're not winning football games, and this is why." I'm hoping that that he did have some part in that, and that because of that, they do see some success because of these rules that they're implementing.
And shout out to Dion if that is the case. Shout out to Dion for being able to take in new information and adapt rather than push back. And I mean, like if you're not having success, you got to change something, right? Something's got to change if you aren't having success, especially whenever you see stuff like Indiana happen. So if you got money, go spend it. But it doesn't matter how much money you got, right, JB? If you don't hit on your players, then ultimately you could just be down in the dump bad. But Tim, I appreciate you. I appreciate your knowledge. I appreciate your brain, ladies and gentlemen, former UNM alum and cornerback, Tim Foley. Tim, have a good one, bro.
See you guys.
Later.
Peace. Woo! College football world. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
What,
A lot of things
coming
going
into
on.
this, I was like, as we talked yesterday, kind of going over all the football stuff, we were like, damn, what is going on in the college football world? Is there anything to even talk about? And then Tim comes on and just bombards us with all this beautiful information. Like, yo, the college football world is still doing it, JB, still doing it. But before we go off, JB, I do want to talk about one last thing, and it's about that Mike Vrabel gentleman, that big old tobacco smoking, beer drinking gentleman that said sometimes you have to believe things before you see them. We can relate that to real life, and as we move forward with our day to day, JB, sometimes you have to believe things before you see them. Coach Vrabel can be the first coach and first player to win a Super Bowl. Let's listen into this wonderful interview that he had made right after their big win. Let me pull it up for us. Sorry here, JB. Vrabel was asked, wants to share his Super Bowl feelings with his players. Let's see what he had to say.
For the players. I've been in their position. I have. I've been there. And it's amazing. And I want other people to feel that feeling. And it's for our families who make a lot of sacrifices and the excitement and the joy that they have. I do this for the players. I've been in their position.
And then this is what, JB.
Did you even envision this happening? And
This is where the beautiful
what did
quote
it
came
take,
from.
particularly today, to punch your ticket to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why you have to do this. It's you have to believe things sometimes before you can see them. And you have to believe that what you're doing is the right thing. And if it's not, you have to recognize it and make adjustments and changes to the program and everything else. And, we got a great group of guys, and they continue to, again, believe in the things that we did, and they formed and created an identity, and they try to protect it. And then today was just another example of, as things kind of change and unfold, our ability to adjust. And, Josh and Zach and Jeremy did a great job leading their units, and the players executed when they had to. And I know that there's going to be a lot of questions about this and that and the other thing, and, we did enough to win the football game in tough conditions.
Could you
You know what's crazy, JB, is I'm watching that. I'm just like, who's reaping the benefits of all this? It's Josh McDaniels. Like Josh McDaniels being coached by not only what some people consider the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick, and now he's able to be the offensive coordinator for a future Hall of Famer in Mike Vrabel. And not only did he coach Tom Brady, but it seems like he has the Tom Brady 2.0, as some are saying, in Drake May, the potential NFL MVP of this year. Have you been able? Like, I know you're far on Seattle's side. You've talked about them throughout the year. You talked about them throughout the playoffs. You picked them to be your Super Bowl winner from the start of all this. You're in love with the storyline of Sam Darnold, JSN, Kenneth Walker, and all those boys. But have you been able? Has there been anything that's maybe pulled you towards the New England Patriots storyline just yet, or do we got to dig into the Patriots storyline even deeper so that way maybe you can have that little bit of a heart tug pull that way towards New England?
Um, honestly, I think the biggest takeaway that I got out of the side was like this, and it's not nothing positive, but I mean, them making the Super Bowl is is kind of a
It's a big
loss
deal.
for Bill Belichick. Like it's showing that Bill Belichick might not be as great of a coach as we thought he was. Bill Belichick's always been known as a defensive mind, and he didn't really did anything offensively. He didn't draft all pro wide receivers, nothing like that. He had to bring in Randy Moss for them to get some success. Um, he just wasn't that guy. He had Tom Brady carrying that offense for almost 20 years. So for me, for New England to just bring people in and they're already back to where, and you could say a lot of stuff, they could have been their schedule, like in the playoffs, they didn't really play quarterback. Drake May didn't really play well all playoffs long. But for me, it's just like, I feel like this kind of dampers Bill Belichick's total legacy. I think he's still a Hall of Famer. I still think he's one of the best coaches, but I the runaway favorite best coach anymore. That's the only that's my takeaway. I don't know if it's even a storyline, but I think it's kind of that to be noted. I don't
Yeah.
just for them to make it back a few years later after after Bill just pretty much ran down the entire team organization and all that stuff. I think it goes more to say about Bill Belichick than and his players than than his legacy and what he's done. So that's the only thing
Yeah,
that I take away from it. Which it's like I said, it's not positive, but it's something to think about. You know, outside of the box a little bit.
yeah, I like that, JB. Hopefully, I can clip that. You were a little glitchy, but the words still came out of your microphone. So, what a take! I wasn't even thinking of that perspective whatsoever, nor was I thinking of it in a negative way. But you know what?
I
That
don't know
sets
what
us up for.
other I don't know what other great storyline. I
Well,
mean,
that's
their
perfect.
storyline's good. May all that kind of
That's
stuff.
perfect though. It sets us up for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I will make it I will make it a part of my job tomorrow morning to tell you the New England Patriots storyline and try to convince you to at least come a step closer into being able to put on a Patriots fan's hat on and be able to understand why they're happy, why they're excited, why they're starting to get a bit delusional. Because like we said with the Denver Broncos, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to accumulate information before you start getting to the delusional phase that starts to hit on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that sets you up for the ultimate delusion on Sunday. Because of the Super Bowl not being for an additional week, we're going to be able to inform you guys as much as we can on these storylines. So tomorrow I will make it a part of my job to make sure that I get a beautiful storyline set for you for the New England Patriots and why you should be rooting for them. We'll do that tomorrow at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. We'll be back on track tomorrow as the world is getting back on track. No more delays. The schools are back open. The streets are starting to get clean. The ice and the snow is starting to melt. So enjoy the rest of your day. Coming at you live from Roswell, New Mexico. Don't forget, we have a line that you can also call 575-808-9307. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, rocking with JB, and rocking with Jay, the producer in the back. We've been able to enjoy the greatest sport on earth, the NFL, the football league, the football, JB. What the hell? The greatest sport in the world. That's the National Football League. And Tim being able to juice up our brains just a little bit with a little bit of college football knowledge throughout the weeks. I appreciate you, Tim. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS. See ya.